Oh, it's me again. Yeah, it's me. Damn it. Sorry. I'm the one who always shows up. So anyway, welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings in the YouTube Atheist Community, which sucks, and Tiny Chat's conversation fun. Which isn't all that fun. Yeah, I have to work on it. I keep saying I'm going to work on it, and I don't work on it because it's like time. I have to keep waking up and going to sleep and waking up and going to sleep, and it's just using up all my time. So anyway, that's just my complaint of the month. This month's theme is it seems an awful waste of time sleeping. But yeah, it's one of those facts of life thing, blah blah blah. I ought to get over it, but I don't. So anyway, last night, it was a perfectly pleasant enough evening. I had a couple of cigarettes left, so that was nice. Yeah. Anyway, I have to work on this thing. Yeah, so not getting much of a hit. Yeah, gotta work on that. But anyway, I'm getting the nicotine, but yeah, it's, I guess that's the part that matters, so I guess I shouldn't worry about it. As long as you're getting nicotine, it should be okay. Anyway, that's the problem with having real cigarettes, is that, it makes you even more, I need it thing. That's addiction, does that, I guess, right? So, anyway, it was an adequate evening. It wasn't, chick was in early, so the girl things, that was fun. And, thank you, to the women's. Preoccupies my mind a little. Then after that, it was just regular people, whatever. A little bit of physics conversation, which I do enjoy, actually. And I was just reciting some of my theories. I'm saying, well, this is a pretty, it's a pretty good volume of theoretical ideas, and I really do have to get that together. So anyway, I probably should do a draft physics video just to see if I have something more to add or not. I don't think I have a bunch of additions, but it's just connecting all the ideas together that I really have to work on and do a paper of some kind and blah blah blah. But and see if I get any better feedback. I think I trounced all the people who were arguing against my speed of sound theory. That all sound is created by a force moving faster than the speed of sound. A force, a thing. Something has to move faster than the speed of sound to create a sound wave. Anyway, and then the other theory would be that light is what everything else in the universe is made out of. Everything, not else, but everything is made out of light. Photons. And you can basically just figure out why something does what it does based on how it has photons arranged in it, how they are trapped in its structure. And that's why E equals mc squared, is because when you take the energy out of mass, out of matter, when you find out what the energy is doing in matter, you will find out that it's just a bunch of light. It's just a bunch of quanta. I guess light would be the wrong way to put it, but it's just a bunch of radiation bits in the form of photons and such. There might be smaller elements. I'm just saying that obviously the building block of all this structure is this material crap. There might be another stage to the physics, sub-physics, but doesn't. I'm just saying from where we're standing, the only thing that's relevant is the dominoes moving, and it's dominoes. So anyway, that's it. I didn't really want to do physics in this video, because physics just irritates the fuck out of people. So anyway, there's not much to report on. News-wise, otherwise, I guess I should turn this around. And we'll do this thingy where we'll just say, okay, there was Paul's ego, did do his, I guess it was Friday night, usually Friday. He's going to try to break it up into different nights, I guess, an hour long or something, where he does his little talking to whatever, the people on Google. But yeah, I don't like the people in this room. They're all kind of boring and, I don't know, not nerdy, but yuppies or something. I don't know what they are. They're just irritating. And they're like, some of them are, obviously, he has the same kind of goofball problem. Some anarchist shows up, or racist, or some other shit. And whatever, just, I don't know. It's just not, This, I keep describing this medium like I want this to feed me somehow. I want this to do something to me where I say, wow, that was good. And, that just doesn't happen too often. So anyway, I have had conversations with the Modern Mystic. I did a response video to him, and then that other guy, Star, or whatever the fuck he is. So, but, pretty good videos. So, done my part. I did my part, so to speak. There's two chicks. So I Got a Theory chick did a video with maybe I Think Sometimes chick. I don't know what her real name is. But she has a boyfriend, so yeah, she's a real boner killer. But anyway, it's just, they're sort of cute girl thing, so it is kind of entertaining, and it's witty. I mean, they're smart, it's snarky, and so yeah, I mean, it's, for that kind of entertainment value, it has entertainment value because it's, it's smart and snarky, and that's always somewhat entertaining. Anyway, I mean, some people might say my appeal is my humorous rhetoric. For some people. Yeah, I don't see it, but you never, well, it's, it's like you get used to your own odor. You just really don't realize, oh, I stink. You get used to it. So anyway, but the opposite is true, I suppose. If you do something bad, you really don't see it as bad, and if you do something good, you don't see it as good because it was sort of an accident that you were good or something, that kind of thing. But that's a whole nother, that's a psychological subject. I really want to get away from these psychological subjects. I'd like to just separate them, that's all. I'd like to have some way to filter the content. When people are talking psychology, it goes over there, and when people are talking philosophy, it goes over there or something. Because, yeah, it is sort of an irritating mixture of it in human conversation. When people are talking about how to live your life, like how to survive it, like what kind of food to eat, and what is reasonable or rational thinking process. I mean, these two things really aren't the same thing. I mean, having a good time and thinking rationally aren't necessarily the same thing. I mean, you can't do both at the same time easily. You really can't. It's, the truth is kind of messy and sloppy and ugly and technical, and those aren't fun things. So anyway, there's been a lot of gripes. People, my videos are too long, and I agree, but there's not much I can do about that. As long as I feel there need to be to say what I need to say. So, and then some of them are just psychological. I mean, some of them are just me communicating with the people who watch my videos, and I'm just saying, yeah, I'm here. This is what I did. This is what I thought about it. It is interesting that it provoked that thought. Blah 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 blah. And that's just part of the necessity of being a human. And I'm a person. And I'm not some kind of thing that just robotically figures out the exact right words to say, and I just don't, I don't do YouTube that way. So if you want scripted videos, yeah, just watch somebody else's videos. Besides, it's probably not going to come out of me. I just don't do that very well. So if the videos are too long, what can I think? Too bad. Sorry. One of those facts of life. It took me that many words to say what I needed to say, and so that's how many words it took. It's just too bad. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not aware of the fact that it'd be nice to be able to make some kind of 5-minute video and be able to say everything that needs to be said in 5 minutes, but I just don't think it's practical. And it's a lot of work. I'm just saying it's difficult to reduce everything into some sort of, you know, simple formula key thing. It just is. Anyway, I don't think there's anything of real note here, so I guess I can move on to the related subject, which is somebody sent me a PM and I thought was pretty good. I won't, you know, I won't out him until he chooses to be outed, but I thought it was a reasonable little rundown on how I should concise my presentation. You know, but as I was thinking about it, I said, well, wait, you didn't put this in, and you know, wait, you didn't put that in. But, you know, it's this idea of just explaining, you know, so I'll just read some of it, just get a feel for it. Just some basic thoughts on how I would present it based upon argument, just based upon generally stupid responses you receive. Explain how the concept of antinatalism is not denying people their right to live, just removing the imposition of birth. Then explain that birthing is not a valid part of enjoyment of living. So, you know, it's just this basic idea of just, you know, people just keep using antinatalism as a word that means somehow extinctionism and impositionism, and you're going to, you know, all this negative force thing when it has nothing to do with you, like somehow you're going to take away your driver's license or something, or you're going to starve people to death, or, I mean, just, yeah, it's not that complicated. You can live a very happy, long life without having kids. That's not a complicated idea. And it can be understood in the world right now that lots of people do that. They live very rewarding and fulfilled and complete lives without including raising children as part of the formula. So it's certainly doable. There's no compromise. And many would argue, I think I could be argued, that people who really excel in their life, generally speaking, don't spend much time on their family. I mean, that's sort of one of the criticisms of a lot of people, is that they're too distracted by their careers to take the time it required to raise kids. So you really should, you know, if you're going to want to have if you want to be exceptional, maybe you should think about the fact that you're probably going to compromise the welfare of children, the welfare of your children, if you have them. Because to be exceptional, you're not going to be able to spend your time doing the ABCs with the kids, kind of thing. So you're going to neglect your kids anyway. So you make your choice. Be a bug that raises kids, or take your consciousness and your faculties and your skills and your understanding to some higher level. But don't try to do both, because it's going to be bogus. Yeah. Anyway, explain the notion that future humanity is not part of their lives. Yes, that's just the idea that, you know, people do all this projecting, that somehow if they found out the human race was going to go extinct in 500 years, it'd be like planning for it. Like in their brain, they'd somehow think, I only have 500 years? And they're not really realizing that they're going to be long dead before that day comes. And, you know, but somehow they vicariously invest in that future. And certainly by having kids, you do sort of invest yourself in the future, because now the welfare of something that means something to you is going to be in jeopardy in the future. And that's a liability you don't need in the first place. And it's one you have no control over. So it's kind of like Superman showing up and saying, okay, I'll help maintain the comfort of your lives. I'll rescue you when you're falling out of buildings and when you're on fire, and I'll do all this stuff. And so you get rid of the fire department, you get rid of the police department, you get rid of all that stuff, and then Superman dies. And then what are you going to... Your kids ain't going to have you. When your kids are going to really need you, you're going to be dead. Think about that for a minute. You know, if you're thinking about having kids, and thinking about the fact that when they really, 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 really need you, you're probably going to be fucking dead. Yeah. And that's going to suck, right? Because you're not going to be there for them. And if you're there for them early in their lives, they might become dependent on you being there. And then you're not there. And they're fucked. Think about that. This is messy. Anyway, see, but I think it all needs more than what this outline is nice, but it's just not enough. You know, it's always more complicated because there's nuance to all these little arguments. And this doesn't really say anything about, I think you really have to start with the evolution argument. You have to get the idea that, you know, your consciousness is just a scheming mechanism. It's just a mechanism used to navigate organisms through environments so they can optimize their performance in the taking of the energy, the consuming of the energy to build a copy of themselves. And that's the fundamental mechanism. And so there's an innate, insidious nature that we have to dignify. We have to give it a saving grace by doing something in the world that makes us mean something more than that. And that's our dilemma. But I mean, people really have to understand that core, that, you know, it's not God that's imposing judgment on you, it's reality that imposes a judgment on you. The demands of performance, the demands of the word productive are what is imposing on you. Think about the word productive. Think about what it means in terms of turning that word around that you use to judge the stuff in your world, and turn it around and throw it at yourself and say, how would I judge me? How would I judge my productivity? What has been the impact of my performance in the world? And I mean, I think people have to have that kind of perspective going in, you know, to start a conversation about what it is to be alive. Because what it is to be alive is to likely be affecting living things. When you know you don't get born in a vacuum, where you just live with cardboard boxes and light posts and, you know, bouncy ball. The world isn't made of those things. It's made of other living things, other consciousnesses who have a welfare stake in existence, just like you do. And the meaning of your life is not how comfortable your neurology is, whether everything's just smoothly going, I'm cool, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm woo woo woo. No, that's not the only game you're playing. You're playing the game in how you're affecting all the other consciousnesses that are trying to find that comfort. Yeah. Well, I see, it just takes more words than this. I mean, I wish this is all it took, but it just takes more than this. Alright, so anyway, the next thing. Alright, talk about how you can't deny life to people who have not been born. Well, I've certainly done that enough. Include the idea again that you are not denying people their own lives, but just simply stating that they can live their lives as they wish, but don't create new ones. Yeah, don't play with the dangerous bomb material. Yes, you survived playing with the bomb material. You have a good life, and you're super cool, and your neurology's all happy with itself. But that's not how it turns out. There's a chance it turns out all broken, and the gear isn't turning right, and the wheels aren't going right, and everything's all nasty and shitty in there. And you have to appreciate that substantial and real risk to this endeavor of creation science. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, the fact that the not being born thing, you know, the fact that you have to be addicted to something to need it. You have to have this attachment mechanism happen. And so obviously you can hurt something that's alive, but you can't hurt something that's not alive. And you can please something that's alive, but you can't please something that's not alive. So I mean, this is, you know, it is the catch of the game, is that you can't hurt something by denying them a life they don't need. That's just not a realistic concern. There's no purgatory that the non-existent are existing in, saying, please help me out. And so you just don't need to mess with it. You don't need to drag them into this environment so they can need. There's no need to create need. I mean, simple statements like that. There's no need to create need. You know, that should say something in people's brains. It should do something in there and say, well, yeah, okay, I can't really, there's no counter argument for that. Anyway, talk of suicide and arguments that people who don't like life should just kill themselves. You know, yeah, so it's just more explanation about how the subject isn't suicide or what your solution to gaining your satisfaction in life is, or a suitable productivity out of your life. But yeah, the subject is about creating life, procreating, an activity of starting a game, you know, creating consciousness. That's a separate subject from what do you do with your consciousness. It's just, they're not the same subject. And you know, suicide gets complicated because there's lots of reasons. You know, there's personal reasons, like, you know, and then there's more complex social reasons. It is true, you can be a huge liability in the world and recognize that and kind of vote to have yourself removed because you suck. I mean, there's no harm in recognizing there's a point where you become too expensive. I mean, it's a truth. It's not a lie. It's not a happy thing, but it's a fact. And we all have to account for ourselves. To keep pretending you don't have to account for yourselves in a world where there's all these other pieces playing the game, and where there's a performance issue about where the carrots go. There's other horses that'll do more work with the carrots. When that's a fact, you as the shitty horse kind of just have to concede, yeah, he beat me. He's better than me. I mean, you know, there's no, you know, that's just the game we're playing. I wish it was a game where we could all be cool and we're all special and all great, but that's not the game of life. And so don't be a pro-lifer and then say, I don't want to play by the rules. Because the rules are, there are performance issues. Efficiency is a real concept in this game. And, you know, you can't, you know, it's a double obnoxious, you know, for people to validate the game and then not want to play by the rules. And pretend that, oh, I'm living in elitist comfort and safety. You know, I don't have to play by any rational rules. I can cheat. Because I have cops that'll beat people up who won't allow me to cheat or something. I mean, that's, you know, it's just that's obviously cheating the game. And so that's just makes these people double obnoxious, is when they defend the game and yet cheat playing the game. That's just like, wow. Double suck. Anyway. So that's enough. That's enough for a video. So yeah, too long. Who cares? Too bad. Whatever. It's a video, and I expressed thoughts and stuff floating about in my conscious realm. Yeah, and that's how long it took to do that. So too bad. Anyway, yeah, I don't think there's anything else. So yeah, maybe draft science video. Got to do some more painting. I really have to get more productive in my little world life. My little world life needs a little more productivity. The me part of my life. Yeah, it just doesn't have any. My meanness is just, you know, it's been a very small part of my life lately. I need more. I gotta get a little more me energy going. Anyway, so till next time.